They really hate the Save Act bill. They can't understand what the Save Act bill is.
The SAVE Act is voter suppression.
No, it's not. You know what it is? What it is a bill that is been created to only allow legal U.S. citizens to vote and non legal U.S. citizens unable to vote. And it's been an alleged crime since 1996, if I'm correct, for illegal non US citizens to be able to vote in our country. But we know certain political parties don't really give a rip about that. So I don't understand why you think that's voter suppression or whatever the hell you want to call it.
I came across a video with Tammy Faye Baker, Erica Kirk.
Of course, you would call her Tammy Faye Baker because, again, we all know you don't say anything nice about anyone. You're just kind of rude. And if you keep talking about her, at some point she's going to probably get fed up with it and end up probably taking you to court and suing you for all the shit you say. Even though, sure, it kind of does somewhat follow under the First Amendment, but that's kind of a defacement word you're using, a very facetious, sadistic language usage that you're putting out there.
Fake ass Christian white grifter, right?
Why does it always have to be anti-whiteism and fake Christian this, fake Christian that? How do you know whether or not she's a fake Christian or a real Christian? How do you know? And supposedly you claim you're a Christian too, which i.e. means thou shalt not judge unless you be judged yourself. So you keep promoting this, don't judge, we shouldn't judge people like you, but you kind of do the same thing to people like Erica Kirk, MAGA, Trump, and all these conservatives. Again, hypocrisy, deflection, moving the field goal post, bit, rinse, repeat, the same shit.
Oh, please buy some merch. I need more money. I'm only worth $12 million. You know,
she's only selling merch because more than likely that's probably what her husband Charlie would want. Not want, but Charlie would want people to continue to remember him for who he was and continue to support their cause and what they believed in.
The fake ass Christian with her gold cross.
Gee, it's really nice that you can be such a hypocritical jerk sometimes, but to people, but you don't like it when we do that to you. Again, why are you doing that to us or to Erica Kirk? It's just stupid.
And the guy's asking her about this Save America Act. Well, if you want to save America, then actually save America.
That's what we're trying to do by not having voter fraud. And shit happened that shouldn't be happening.
And the gentleman said, we have less than 200 instances of voter fraud.
That's allegedly probably correct. I don't know. I haven't really looked deep into it. But yeah, we've had alleged voter fraud before, and that it was a problem.
You're creating a solution for a problem that really doesn't exist.
You said you're creating a solution to a problem, but then you're kind of doing the hypocritical going backwards and trying to double down and say that that doesn't exist when you kind of already acknowledge that you're having a solution to a problem. So then obviously that means then that's a alleged problem, but in your mind you don't see it that way particularly. Again, this is kind of what we expect from these people. Not very bright in knowing things like this.
Because it doesn't.
Oh, if it doesn't, then explain to me, then, oh, smart one, the all know it all one, then explain to me why, when the ballot counters were at one point no longer accepting alleged ballots, and the ballots were supposed to be counted, but then allegedly more ballots came in from people that were allegedly illegal and also allegedly deceased, or that have also allegedly voted more than one time during that election. When Biden didn't win, he allegedly was losing the polls by a shit ton, and Trump was ahead. Why then was that an alleged issue? Oh, yeah, but to you it's not, but it is. It's real honest. And then when there were certain alleged people that were purporting that this was allegedly happening inside, they were told to shut off the cameras, or they got kicked out, or they allegedly no longer are around, or we have not allegedly heard from them anymore about this. Does that make a lot of sense to you? No. See, it doesn't make sense, because that shouldn't happen.
340 million people, that's not the problem. And she said, well, so aren't you against any voter fraud? Cool, so let's go with that for a second. So the rapist white supremacist that you voted for, Tammy Faye Baker, asked for...
Why do you keep saying that? Like, that's... What's your point in saying stupid things like that? That's just stupid. You don't need to say it.
Georgia to find over 10,000 votes so he can overturn an election.
No, Trump didn't allegedly want to turn over the election. He wanted a fair election, was what Trump wanted. What Trump wanted was the election not only to be fair, but done the way that it should be done, and handled and counted fairly, equally, where there was no alleged funny business or shenanigans going on with it.
What did Jesus say about that, Eric?
Why are we bringing up Jesus in politics at this conversation, or especially in this conversation? Jesus has nothing to do with politics. Honestly, really, he doesn't. So what does God allegedly say about putting him in politics?
It's funny how Jesus never talks to you. Oh,
hold on. How do you know that? How do you know that Jesus doesn't talk to people? Because if I remember correctly in the Bible, Jesus does mention, or God does mention something about, if you pray, I may answer, or he does supposedly answer. So what again are we trying to accomplish here?
When you want to believe something, are you going to make a post about that? How you should hold the president accountable?
Gee, I don't know. You're doing it, so why didn't you ever allegedly post about Biden being allegedly not held accountable for the shit he allegedly did? But you're only going after Trump for trying to allege certain things about him, and you're only trying to hold Trump allegedly accountable. Why didn't you ever make an alleged video about Obama being held accountable for some of the alleged shit he did? That just kind of doesn't make sense, because it's called hypocrisy. It's called deflection. You're moving the field goal post at any point in given time that you please and choose, or choose and please, to just kind of cherry pick shit. That's what we know you're very good at, and what people like you are very good at. You don't know how to not do that. That's the sad part.
how he should be a person of faith? No, you won't do that. Cool.
You know, you kind of do talk a lot about how people of faith should be people of faith, but then you kind of sit here, degrade people, and call them alleged Nazis, racist, white supremacists, on and on and on. And a real person of faith would never allegedly do that to anyone. So, again, why should you be allowed to call yourself a person of faith and not be questioned for it when you do the exact opposite of what you tell people to do? See, it's kind of monkey see, monkey do. Do as you're told, or do as I say, not as I do. It's just, again, very much of how we know this bullcrap propaganda is perpetuated.
He just signed an executive order to prohibit or limit mail-in voting, and yet he...
Because there's a particular alleged reason for it. Did you not know that? No, you're going to sit here behind the camera, bitch, whine, complain, moan about stupid shit because, you know, you kind of like to be a big hypocrite when you hate people being a hypocrite towards you or criticizing you in any way, shape, or form.
Just vote.
Again, it's do as I say, not as I do with these kind of people.
Via mail in Florida. Oh, are you going to make a video about that?
Well, she voted for it. I mean, she probably, and whether she does or doesn't want to talk about whether she is or is not in support of it, why does it matter to you? Because it seems like you're more intent on just causing issues and problems. You're very good at being very problematic here, dude.
Jesus going to come down and talk to you about that? No, not.
See, this is where I kind of get pissed off with these type of people that claim, like this guy kind of allegedly claims he is Christian, but he doesn't act as a Christian. He doesn't follow the Christian value. This is why, you know, I kind of lost that Christian faith is because people like this guy. Because this guy makes Christians look bad and look terrible. And this isn't what Christianity is about.
Those instances? Huh. It's fascinating how you only weaponize God when it benefits you. But I digress.
Yeah, go ahead and digress because we all know who's the one that's the biggest proprietor of allegedly weaponizing God when it's feasible. We know what kind of people do that, the obvious and the most. Those that are not real Christians that do it. And again, I digress here. I'm not a Christian. So whether it's Mr. Potato Head or Dr. Seuss, I don't give a shit what you believe in. But there is a certain point in time where people are going to get pissed off and just say, you know what, we're tired of these kind of people. And these kind of people don't reflect upon us. And real true Christians should actually say that about this kind of person. Because these kind of people, like this guy, is not what Christians should act on or act as. Real Christians act better than this. This isn't a Christian act of real faith. This is just a showmanship of pretending to be Christian because you're not really Christian. You're just claiming it. You're using it. It's like a badge of honor. It's just a little participation trophy for you.
So,
but again, might I digress?
Let's talk about your response and the response to the SAVE Act, where, well, don't you agree there should be no voter fraud at all? Sure.
Okay, you said it, sure. So then why in the beginning or the intro of your video did you allege that there was nothing going on like that? yeah, because again, you're just being virtuous. You're just basically deflecting and you're just doing what you do best, which is just pretend nothing's there. Like, hey, there's no boogeyman under the bed. You're fine. Go back to bed. Yeah. No. When there's an issue, it should be addressed. Honestly. It's just, I don't think you want to have that conversation because having that conversation, in your opinion, triggers you. Well, not really in your opinion, but in most people's opinions, it triggers you because we can see it triggers you.
I'd like 14 million kids not to go to school hungry, but here we are.
I would like people that don't know what they're doing or saying about politics not to be on YouTube, but here we are because it's under the First Amendment that they're allowed to say and cherry pick what they want to say and do because it's under the Constitution. But, you know, there are certain things I would like, and I just can't get everything I want. You know, you can't have cake and ice cream.
So let's look at gun violence in 2025.
Oh, dear God. We're going to go back to the same shit always. He's not going to look that there is alleged only 1% gun violence for 1, 2, 3, or 4 alleged percent gun violence on certain demographics, but then there's like 98, 99% violence on a certain demographic that's a lot higher, which we know to the Black community. So yeah, I digress.
38,818 people died from guns. Yeah.
Are you sure it wasn't from squirt guns? From alleged squirt guns? I mean, them squirt guns are really dangerous, allegedly, I hear. Especially during the summertime. Yeah. Oh my God, we should never allow our kids to have squirt guns because then it may cause them to allegedly act out with real alleged weapons. Oh my gosh, that is such a traumatic experience for a summertime to have a squirt gun. Ah, grow up.
From the guy that your husband said, I think dead Americans is worth the cost of a Second Amendment.
Are you sure you're quoting that correctly? Because, again, context is everything. But
that guy, your pro-life, fake-ass Christian husband.
Very mature to disrespect a deceased person. Yeah, again, let's take notes from some dude behind the camera that really obviously has no fucking clue what or any political thing is. He is just kind of on a whim cherry picking and choosing what fits the narrative here. Yeah, let's definitely take advice from these kind of people.
Between the ages of 0 and 11,
I bet you half of these gun violence are probably more than likely coming from a certain demographic that we already know. But he's just going to ignore and bypass that and say it's only the white community, right?
226 children died from gun violence. From the ages of 12 to 17, 1,038. Let's go back just one more year to 2024. 31,056 people died from gun violence. Mass shootings, 502.
502 mass shootings. There we go. Maybe you're doing a little bit of math, but your math ain't mathing, I don't think.
Ages 0 to 11, 750.
How is babies allegedly being shot? That doesn't kind of make sense, but whatever.
51. Ages 12 to 17, 1,188. So, hey, I'm just going by your words because the SAVE Act isn't about voter fraud. You said don't.
Actually, SAVE Act is about voter fraud. But again, here we are cherry picking because, again, we can cherry pick certain things because if it fits our narrative, it works. But if it doesn't fit our narrative, it doesn't work.
Do you even want to stop less than 200 instances of voter fraud?
Well, why do you think the frickin' SAVE Act bill was created? Just to be created, just to be created? For no apparent reason? I mean, it doesn't take very much brain power to think about this, but for these kind of people, it does. For these people that don't understand politics or policies, like this guy who doesn't have a freaking clue of anything. He's just, kind of, again, going off the whim and cherry picking here. It's obviously easy to tell that these kind of people are very much deluded with delusions, lies, and sensationalization from the media.
Don't you want to stop over 78,000?
And where did you get those alleged statistics, by the way? Because that would be another thing that you should also mention there. Since you obviously want to talk about statistics, you might want to also give that information to people so that they can figure out where you're looking at and then compare it to other statistics. Because it sounds like you're being very sneaky about this. And this is kind of, again, where I'm going to call bullshit on these kind of things, is that these kind of people are very sneaky. They won't tell you, hey, I'm getting the statistics from such and such, blah, 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 blah. They just read the statistics and do the, trust me, bro, I'm being honest here. I'm being genuine. I'm being truthful. No, that's being very flakish and sneaky. And that's not good. That's being deceived, being very deceiving. And you shouldn't deceive people.
Instances of gun violence, the number one cause of death.
Yeah, let's blame guns for doing the shit and not the people allegedly doing it, right? Just how, like, you wanted an alleged, well-regulated Second Amendment, which shall not be infringed, which we've already talked about. It shall not be infringed and will not be infringed.
And yet, Jesus doesn't tell you to do a damn thing about gun violence.
See, these are the kind of alleged fake Christians, not Erica Kirk, but these kind of people, like allegedly this guy, in my honest opinion, that deceive people very well with slick words. They know how to be slick and smooth with their talking points and their dramatization of certain things and elements in the world that they see allegedly on the media. But again, if you go out and do a little research, you can either see, okay, maybe they are correct or maybe they are wrong, or maybe they're just sensationalizing it just a smidge, just a tad bit. It's easy to do. But again, people just don't want to do it.
Unless it personally affects you, right, Tammy Faye Baker?
Okay, look, first of all, please stop being a Richard and use her name correctly. It's Erica Kirk or Miss Kirk to you.
Then that's different. See, that's the problem. You actually don't give a shit about the solution.
Gee, it's kind of funny how conservatives actually do give a shit and people like you allegedly don't. But again, here we are, cherry picking shit. Just because we can cherry pick shit. Because cherry picking shit makes it so much easier and so much more truthful, when honestly that doesn't do shit for anyone other than just really confuse more people into believing alleged bullshit, lies, and dramatization of certain things going on.
What the SAVE Act is It is an attempt to try and overturn the midterms.
Nope. Nope. There we go. He's cherry picking again. So, what the SAVE Act bill is, I did a little research on this just before I did this video, just so that I can get a generalization idea of what it is. Again, it's to stop alleged non-U.S. citizens from being able to vote because they're not U.S. citizens. So it stops them from voting, and it keeps U.S. citizens that are legal and that are here legally. It keeps them able to, or it allows them to continue to be able to vote and know that their votes count and matter, and is not going to be overran by alleged multiple non-U.S. citizen votes that shouldn't even count in the first place. That's basically what it is.
That's it.
So what this guy is saying basically is nothing. What he's saying is, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, is what he's saying basically about himself. Is he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He just wants to kind of nitpick and cherry pick and allege that he's a Christian man of faith because he was named after the Apostle Paul, and he likes to call people racist, white supremacist, Tammy Faye Bakers, while he's sitting there being alleged Richard and being a hypocrite himself. And he has no idea about politics or policies at all, or any general idea about any of this shit. And I have more of a clue than he does about it because I've done this for almost 5 freaking years, longer than he has. But again, of course, there are going to be the idiots and the morons that will follow along with what this guy says, because we know that those kind of people obviously can't think for themselves because of the media.
This is about white supremacy.
In your opinion, and that's just not even an opinion or a fact, that's just bullshit narratives now that you're pushing. Again, you're virtue signaling. You're just trying to push certain narratives out there because, hey, far be it from anyone to know the truth of that. What really is going on out there is that there is alleged voter fraud going on and it should be stopped. But in your opinion, you don't see it that way. So again, who's the alleged person that obviously doesn't know anything?
And for people that follow me, I'm sorry, but this is what it is.
For people that follow him, I'm sorry that you are so gullible like he is. I'm so sorry that you have to be just as gullible as this dude is to believe the bullshit he's spewing out of his mouth. I'm so sorry that you think that it's okay. Well, that it's maybe not okay, but that it's truth, in fact, when this guy isn't saying anything truthful or factual. He's just trying to find people that I wouldn't call them allegedly uneducated, but in the same sense, I kind of do have to say it, but at the same sense, I want to use a better word for it. Not just, okay, fine, uneducated. It's because uneducated people are not doing their due diligence in life to find out the truth. It's just they want to follow the blind leading the blind. And that's not ever going to work. That has never worked. It's always been blind people. The blind following the blind always leads to not a very good narrow path that will never prosper for you or anyone else.
They are scared to death of diversity.
No. Oh, Jesus. So you think we're scared of diversity? Well, look at America. We're pretty diverse, dude. If we were scared of diversity, then why would we have a diverse country? Why are we able to have a country that has different cultures and different religions and different things in it? See, what these kind of people like this guy is scared of is that America is better with what conservatism is, and he knows that he's scared of it. And people that are gullible or allegedly uneducated that don't want to see the truth in it, that conservatism is about preserving what our forefathers once, gave us and what we should continue to do, which is allow U.S. citizens to be able to vote and have the freedom and the religion and the free speech that they are given, and people that want to come here legally be able to come here legally, which is fine, but also deport the illegals because of their alleged wrongdoing or because they're out here legally. That's it. These kind of people like this guy is scared of these things. He's frightened of a country that is better. He wants a socialistic country. These kind of people like him allegedly want a socialistic country because they think that capitalism is the worst. When honestly, you could try to state your argument against it, but it's not really going to work. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work very well for these kind of people because most of these very gullible, alleged uneducated people really don't have an idea of a better concept of way of money and how things work, because they just want the government to do everything for them because that's how childish they are. That is how very slow they are in understanding concept that we should not trust or give 100% into trust of our alleged government to do things for us. That's why it's always stated that we, the people, should not fear the government, but the alleged government should fear us, we the people, because we can vote them in, but also we can vote them out at any given time. We can impeach them. We can stop what they're doing at any given time just by us voting that shit out or voting to stop it from happening. And that's what these kind of people like this guy, who is very gullible and very naive, don't want. They just want to put 100% trust in our government. No, I don't think we the people would ever allow that.
Whether you're queer or gay or transgender or Somalian or black or an immigrant.
Who cares about any of that? Nobody cares about any of that shit. That's none of our business. What it's about is we the people being able to legally have our voting rights not be overridden by alleged votes that are not or should not count at all. Is that a big deal? Again, I guess it is for these kind of people.
It is terrifying, these white people. There's a reason that Christians and Tammy Faye Baker's...
There he goes. He said the quiet part out loud. It's terrifying. These white people. So, again, this is what alleged bootlicking looks like, and this is what alleged reverse racism and anti-whiteism looks like right here from these kind of people, like this guy right here. That's not really surprising to me, in my opinion. That I kind of figured that would happen. And it's been happening for a long freaking time.
The world don't want to talk about this because they know that their 6 teeth, 3 brain cell base don't give a damn about lives. They care about a gun. They don't care about solving solutions. They care about creating problems. What they do is they go out in the
And really sad that he has to use very childish um word salad type name calling just to try to get his point across. It's sad. It shows you right there that these kind of people like this guy obviously are not capable of thinking for themselves. They rely on the media and the government to do it for them. I would not be surprised that most of these people probably are the reason why we're having a lot of the issues we're having today with people not being so smart because they're allowing children to be absorbing this kind of BS and crap. And then the children turn out to be like this when they grow up, not very smart and very gullible, and only trusting the government and the media and YouTubers who really don't have a freaking clue about politics or policies beyond YouTube. But again, they do have the right to their first opinion. But at the same token and same time, we got to think about this. This is the kind of people that we are dealing with. These kind of people are, um, I guess, some would allege or consider an alleged threat to our republic and to the Constitution. That's allegedly probable. I don't know. But at the same time, these are the kind of people that you obviously know are going to be very democratic, very progressive, very liberal, very socialist, very communistic.
world and they look at a million different tweets and a million different videos and they find the one thing that is so insignificant.
So if alleged voter fraud is very insignificant, then why have we been talking about it a long time? If it was truly insignificant, it wouldn't be mentioned or have been mentioned. So again, this is, I'm going to use his word, how insignificant these kind of people are. They're not very significant at all. They do not matter. They do. They are below us. We thrive over what these people are doing. We know how to continue to succeed and have a successful life, while these people live in schadenfreude or live in misery and despair and suffering and their hate, bigotry, racism themselves, and their racist, bigoted beliefs continue to march or try to march on. We stomp over it because we don't allow that kind of crap to happen.
But their base is so stupid, they take an anecdotal piece of information.
Oh, so we're stupid apparently to these kind of people that obviously are very gullible. Yeah, again, I will definitely not take anything that somebody who is very gullible and somewhat highly probably more probable to be very uneducated advice on anything. I wouldn't take advice on something coming from you because it does not sound like you know exactly what you're saying. You're just, again, cherry picking. Stop doing that. That just makes you look bad.
And run with it.
Well, gee, who does that also remind me of? Yeah, certain other alleged people that do that, and a certain other demographic of political party. Democrats, liberal, socialist, progressive, allegedly people like you, like this guy. Yeah. And it's sad. It's very, very sad that these kind of people believe in what they believe in.
They piece of information and run with it. 2020 election. The president still hasn't conceded the election.
Because he allegedly got ripped off. There was alleged voter fraud there, but not from the conservatives. Who did it? The alleged Democrats. But not even just the alleged Democrats, but the higher ups, the alleged Illuminati, the the alleged secret societies that allegedly have a hand to play into it, allegedly were part of it. But yes, the Democrats were just kind of the little alleged puppets with it.
And yet, not one of you fake ass Christians, American patriots.
Gee, he likes to call a lot of people fake ass Christian when he's the one sitting there being the alleged fake Christian the most. Again, that's a lot of hypocrisy going on there, buddy.
Have said a damn thing about it. Why is that? I thought you're for law and order.
We are. What are you for? Not law and order. We are mostly for law and order. People allegedly like you are not for law and order because we see how you act and how you portray yourself to be. Because people like you are purportedly known to not be very smart when it comes to understanding what law and order actually entails and what it means. You just have a very small understanding and concept of it, but you do kind of have a little bit of an understanding, but not very much of it.
You want free and fair elections. Literally.
We do, but what do you want? You don't want alleged free, fair elections. You want elections to allegedly be unfair. You want people that are allegedly deceased or that are illegal or allegedly people who are able to allegedly vote twice in an election just because you don't like a certain president who is running. Yeah, we see how this kind of is getting really repetitive, and it's the same freaking thing.
4 officers committed suicide.
And then he's going to bring up the alleged 4 officers that allegedly committed suicide, which has nothing to do with. I mean, yeah, it does have somewhat because of the J6 alleged incident, but that was an alleged inside job. We already know that. We've kind of discussed that multiple times. We're just getting tired of it.
After January 6th. 4. One died the next day. Michael Fanone had a heart attack.
That might have the heart attack, if he did allegedly have a heart attack, probably allegedly had nothing really to do with J6. It was just probably because his ticker was bad. Who knows?
Where are you at, Kevin Faye Baker? I don't hear it. Oh, Jesus didn't tell you to stand up for the cops that died. What about their family?
We do stand up for the cops and what had happened, or what you allege had happened. We stand up for it. You're not standing up for it because you're probably one of those alleged people that want to defund the police, not fund them.
Families, Erica Kirk. But you made $200,000 in merch. That's what this is about. This is indoctrination through white Christianity.
Now, what you're doing is alleged indoctrination of stupidity. You're taking people that are not going to do research on their own, that are very gullible and somewhat allegedly very uneducated or not very smart in doing their own research, but will take everything the media says, and I use the word uneducated because they believe the media more than they trust doing the actual research on their own and just run with it.
It is an attempt to hold on to the white patriarchy.
There we go. More anti-whiteism, more reverse racism. Come from a middle-aged white guy that obviously we know is allegedly very racist and very hateful and spiteful, but still doesn't want to move out of the country because he would rather watch this country allegedly burn to the ground and try to hold on to democracy as tight as he can, thinking it's going to work. For all it's worth, it is not going to work. It's going to fall.
LBJ said that this country will vote for the most
LBJ didn't say that.
morally bankrupt, incompetent, bumbling idiot, convicted felon, rapist, white.
It's funny how you're using an LBJ quote when allegedly LBJ was a Democrat and he allegedly had a lot of things to say about the black community. You might want to look into that before you start quoting his shit there, buddy.
Supremacist that cheats on his wife with a porn star, white man, over the most qualified black woman. And that's what this is.
By the way, she was only 1% black and she was not even fucking qualified. She probably is not even qualified to fold laundry. At all. Hell, she isn't even qualified to even fucking probably suck on a lollipop. If at best. Her qualification is just running around being a babbling, bumbling moron. An alleged moron. That's all she's good for. It's kind of like Biden was, except she's not as demented, allegedly, as he was. But yeah, great job on trying to, again, cherry pick on things.
And they're petrified that their white patriarchy is crumbling to the ground.
Really? Really? It's kind of funny how none of us are petrified. It's just you are. You're petrified. You're the only one that's allegedly bringing out a lot of this shit. You're talking a lot about this shit, and you're the only one that's going for it. People like you.
That's what this is. This is very, 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 very simple.
This guy doesn't know anything. He doesn't have a freaking clue what he's talking about. But he's just going to sit here in front of the camera and ramble and bamble because he thinks he's going to make the big difference. Yeah, okay.
Remove the log from your eye before you see the speck in your brother's.
Ah, but you quote that, but do you do that? No, you don't. So, in the same token, shut up and do that before you start preaching there, preacher man. Because that's called hypocrisy. That is something also God does not like people to do, is be hypocrites.
But what these fake ass Christians do is go around seeing the speck in everybody else's eye.
Kind of funny how you're deflecting that you're not doing that, which is absolutely 100% what you're doing. But you claim that every conservative is doing it. Right.
They want to play God, not follow God.
Gee, doesn't that allegedly sound like somebody else we know that is speaking right now? Not me. This guy.
Do you think, Erica, that God would be worried about 41,056 and 38,818 gun deaths?
Gee, I don't know because I'm not God. I don't try to play God. And sure, my name's not Erica, but in my honest, humble opinion as a conservative and a MAGA supporter, I don't know because I'm not a Christian God. I don't follow Christian God. And even my God, I couldn't say for 100% surety in my belief what my gods would believe or goddesses would believe in on that situation and conversation. They would know that it's not a good thing, that, yeah, that shouldn't be happening, but they know that there are bad people. And I'm sure God knows that there are bad people out there that do bad things towards good people, which they shouldn't be doing. So I don't know.
Or less than 200 cases of voter fraud.
I think the Christian God in my opinion, would be more concerned about people following and doing what is right as Christians should, not what Christians shouldn't be doing. And yes, the people that do commit alleged gun act of violence will be punished and persecuted during Judgment Day. That's all I really think, honestly, God probably would be concerned with. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm not God, and I'm not going to try to play God because we know that that doesn't work out very well for us mortals.
So let me ask.
But it kind of does allegedly play out well for you because, you know, you think you can do it.
You a question, Tammy Faye Baker. Why is it that you care more about less than 200 alleged people that voted illegally, more than the almost 80,000 people that died from gun violence, or the 5 officers that died after January 6th, or the 1,500 women that were victims?
For one, I would suspect Erica Kirk cares a lot about both of those conversation points. And two, I have a feeling that because we, as we the people, would want a political candidate that would deal with it in the right way and not allow it to continue. So we would try to deal with both.
In Ireland, and the president that you support, that you lick his boots.
Kind of how allegedly you lick the boots of Kamala Harris and the other guy that was allegedly a Republican candidate, John McCain.
Because he's a white man, is literally refusing to release the Epstein files, where it's probably going to show that he molested little girls. Why is that? Just curious.
Why don't you ever talk about what allegedly Joe Biden did and his alleged connections? Why don't you ever talk about alleged Obama's connections to certain alleged things? Oh yeah, because you just want to ignore it and you just want to attack certain people or go after alleged certain people because that's how you get your rocks off. It appeases you that way. Right. Give me a break.
Republicans don't actually care about making the country better.
Real Republicans do. Not the rhinos, and definitely not people like you.
They would rather point out the problems and not fix a damn thing.
Kind of how you're doing, right? You're so good at being that. I'm trying to be the white savior, the nonchalant bootlicker, and you're such a great inspiration to all of the people. Yeah, you're only inspirational to the gullible, not to the ones that are not. People that are not gullible are laughing at you, not with you. Please remind yourself of that, and pardon me for the burp.
which is why we don't have universal health care.
Because it's socialistic, because we would have to pay out of pocket for it, and we don't want to do that. And we don't give a fuck about trying to put our country into socialism. Actually, we do give a fuck about it, but we don't give a fuck about trying to pay for other people's health care when they should be able to pay for it themselves or have medical insurance that could try to allegedly help them pay for their medical benefits or their medical care.
That's why we have gun violence.
No, we have gun violence because of stupid people. There's a bigger difference. You got to understand. Smart people, stupid people. Stupid people do stupid things. Smart people do smart things. I think you should have known that by now. That's kind of a no-brainer.
Which is why we lead the world in incarcerations.
Gee, I wonder why people get incarcerated. Because they do stupid things. And they win stupid prizes. Not very hard to figure that one out, is it? But oh gee whiz, it's hard for you.
Which is why they won't do a damn thing about 800,000 homeless.
Gee, what has allegedly any Democrats ever done about homeless? What has independents allegedly ever done for Democrats? Not a damn thing. Because we've never had an independent candidate win and do a damn thing about it as president. So again, why are you bitching and snoveling and sniveling about it when you yourself haven't allegedly done a damn thing either? Oh yeah, but allegedly continue to perpetuate hate and stereotypical talking points.
14 million kids go to school hungry.
Which we're trying to deal with. But allegedly you're going to claim that isn't happening.
Or 2/3 of this country that live paycheck to paycheck.
Gee, it's called inflation. I don't know. You know what inflation is? You ought to be smart enough to know what the fuck inflation is.
Or 42 million people that need government assistance just to eat.
How about the few people that use government assistance when they allegedly don't need it? You want to go for there? You want to go for that talking point too there, Buttercup? Because I sure as fuck think that would be a good conversation starter. And trust me, you wouldn't win in a debate with me against that one. You would lose. Because I know you would. Because I've got you pegged 1,000 ways I could tell you and destroy your theories on that one. So let's have that conversation, Paul, when you're mature enough to have that conversation, because I don't think you ever will want to have that conversation. That there are alleged people out there that do have EBD cards and SSI when they shouldn't be on that because they're just mooching off of the government because they're moochers. But no, you want to make it sound more sensationalized than it is. Okay. I've got your number, pal, on that one. I know I can destroy you with evidence on that one.
They won't.
Because I looked it up.
Do a damn thing to actually solve any problems.
Oh, we're trying, but it's very hard when we have people like allegedly you trying to stop it. And I think the same way you do.
But they'll spend their whole miserable, pathetic lives being the victim of something.
Sounds like a bunch of other people we allegedly know. Allegedly Black Lives Matter, Democrats, progressives, socialists, communists. Yeah.
Which, in part, is why we got the dumbass in the White House.
No, we got Trump in the White House because we thought he would do a good job. That's why. And that's why we don't have people allegedly like you in the White House, because you would destroy this country, not help build this country better.
because they don't want to take responsibility for their shitty life.
Gee, do you allegedly ever take responsibility for your shitty life? I bet you do.
Their 6 teeth and their dirty clothes and lip.
I'm dirty because I work, by the way. Unlike some other people we know that don't like to work and mooch off of the alleged government and sit behind an alleged camera and whine and bitch and moan about things.
Being in a trailer and dating their sisters and marrying their cousins and not having.
God, you're just going for the stereotypes as like that's gonna hurt me the most. Oh God, my feelings are so hurt. Oh, yeah. Grow up. Come on, this isn't fucking child talking points. We need actual adult conversation. And I don't think, again, you're ready to have an adult conversation. You're still kind of in that childish mode. Again, come talk to me when you can get out of that childish mode.
Healthcare and being dependent on the government. They don't actually want to solve the problem. They want to bitch and moan about their shitty life.
Kind of how, again, like we know some other people do, and somebody else right now we're hearing doing it, allegedly doing it. Yeah.
And blame the libtard.
It's funny how it's all of our alleged faults.
And blame the brown people.
We're blaming the illegal immigrants, by the way. If you don't know the difference, then you really should learn what the difference is. Again, before you speak on something you don't know jack shit about.
3 people own half the wealth in this country.
3. That's not very much. That's just 3 people. Actually, no. Wait, hold on. There's more than 3. There's allegedly Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, Trump, and I'm trying to remember the other one. And, well, actually more than 3. But, okay, whatever.
3.
Look, he can count. Yay! You're such a big boy.
Elon Musk is worth $650 billion.
And what is Steve Jobs worth?
But the white supremacists in the White House,
he means our president, our great president, not the white supremacist, because we allegedly had one before. And thank God he's no longer in the White House.
He's a shit in a gold toilet, who has his own airplane, who has golf courses.
Air Force One isn't his airplane. It belongs to the White House. And it's taxpayer money that probably allegedly paid for it.
And hotels with his name on it, and it's worth over $1 billion, convinced you that people coming from Mexico that aren't white are the problem.
No, what he convinced us was that we're having a problem with alleged illegal immigrants coming through that are allegedly doing bad things to American citizens that are the problem that need to be dealt with, should be dealt with properly and legally. There's something you don't know, because obviously, again, you're just kind of allegedly talking out your ass as usual, which is typical for these kind of talking points to be said.
That's why we're here. It's white supremacy.
God, what a dum-dum. No, we're here because we had to deal with the last alleged idiot president we had that had the same alleged idiocracy thought process that we know certain other alleged people to have, not conservatives, but maybe that was part of the issue. I don't know. We can find multiple other issues too.
It always has been, and it always will.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, again, coming from a guy that obviously is very gullible and allegedly lacks the education in knowing about politics and political policies, I really am not going to take what you say for truth here, but not one bit.
And white supremacy is white Christian nationalism.
Again, coming from somebody that really doesn't know shit and that allegedly likes to kind of talk out his arse, you're not very brilliant. It's not at all what it is. But you keep telling yourself and trying to cope harder and harder and harder to live in your fantasy land. Why don't you do what you and Biden always should do best? Go back into the basement that you crawled out of and stay in there and live in your fantasy land that you love to live, and let the real adults do adult things here and deal with America that the way that America should be dealt with and handled by people that are mature enough and responsible enough to vote and have their political opinion without having some people act like alleged babies about certain things. That would be a great idea. That would be a grand idea, honestly.
With the gold cross. This is very, very, very simple.
He claims it's very, very allegedly simple, but yeah, we know.
It's about damn time that we confronted white Christian nationalism head on.
So then, hold on. Then, because you're an alleged white Christian, so then does that mean allegedly then you're part of the problem too? Because you can't just point out everyone else. You got to kind of point at yourself too here, bud. See, this is how the deflection, hypocrisy, moving the field goal post, spit, rinse, repeat shit goes. It is always happens every fucking time. Every fucking time it happens. What's up, Zen? It happens every fucking time. This is what we do. We deal with idiots that don't know politics or policies, that spout off and say what they believe, which again is under the First Amendment. I agree, but they don't have the capacity to think logically about certain situations. They just want to blame certain issues on conservatives because conservatives don't want America to be in a shithole place. We'd rather it grow and continue to be good, when people we have out there that would rather see America be a shithole place. Yeah, no, we don't want that.
It is not Christianity.
Do you know the definition of Christianity? I do. Christianity is not about religion. It's about relationship with the Christian God, Jesus, or God himself, or Jesus, or whatever you want to call him, Yahweh, or whatever, or Eli, or whatever the God Christian name goes by. That's what it's about, doing the right thing. It's not about what this guy thinks.
They are religious Pharisees.
You talk awful lot about alleged conservative being Christian Pharisees, but I think we know one person that is a alleged religious Pharisee, and we are reacting to him because that's allegedly what he does.
Religious hypocrites that will.
Oh, yeah. Again, where's the hypocrisy? It's not coming from conservatives, right? You know where it's coming from. People like this guy that are hypocrites.
Only use the Bible and Scripture when it benefits them.
So he's deflecting, but what he's doing is secretly kind of saying this about himself, because again, this is what he does and what he is good at doing. Zen Jammy says, always covering the issue, others won't, and true professional. Thank you, Zen, I appreciate you.
Financially and politically. Have a good day.
This guy just is a complete farce. He doesn't know anything. But anyway, guys, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.